Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Todd Pronto. I know you were expecting somebody different. Don't worry, he's here as well. On the show today as a guest, on his own show today as a guest, we have Scott Wheeler.
Hello. This isn't the first time I've been a guest on my own show.
Yeah,
and it probably won't be the last, but I figured I would take you out of retirement. Well, not quite out of retirement. You're the CEO of, well, you are the Ted Turner of NEK TV.
Yes. I'm a big, important mover and shaker.
Right. Yep.
Well, there's a lot of buzz going on about what Scott Wheeler is doing, so that's what we're talking about today. Well,
Scott Wheeler has decided that it is time to lighten his load. No, I'm not going to. I'm not getting rid of my shows yet. I think I'm going to stay around for a while. I've been the pay is too good. Yeah, the pay is too good. You brought me up to the radio station upwards of like 20 years ago when you were there. And I can't remember the exact pay. Well, actually, I can, because if you multiply it each year, it still comes out to be zero. And that's how much I started at. And that's how much I'm at now. And then you dragged me down when you went down to NEK TV. You started me out at the same pay, zero, and that's what I'm paid now. So just the pay just makes it impossible for me to leave. But I am lightening my load a bit. I am, after 25 years as the publisher of Vermont's Northland Journal, I have decided to call it a day. And so quarter a century of through the journal of recording, of sharing and preserving the history of the Northeast Kingdom, I have decided it's time. It's been a great 25 years, but I should note that does not mean that I'm disappearing. As much as some people probably wished I would disappear, I'm going to take the summer and really contemplate things, but I think I'll be back with publishing some more books. So,
I would think, I'm a musician, and you never really retire from being a musician. I would assume being a writer is the same thing. Like, you might, as you said, lighten your load a little bit, but like, you're not going to stop writing. You're not going to stop researching history and talking about history. That's just in your blood, right?
Right. Yeah, because I've been writing for over 3 decades now, because I started out my writing career as a reporter at the Chronicle, which, although I have a degree, I would say I learned more as a newspaper reporter than I did in 4 years of college. It was a great learning experience. Just a wonderful experience to know that I live in Vermont's a state where you can actually just get on the phone and call the governor's office and not talk to some flunky, but, I can just call the governor up now and talk to him. You can't do that in any state. But no, I learned a lot of my skills from them, whether it be Bethany Dunbar or Tina Daigle, or it was a great learning experience. And then came my years with the Journal, and Penny and I founded the Journal in 2002. And most people who truly knew Penny and I, like you did, knows that Penny was the brains of the outfit. as I was the front person. But she really knew how to stretch a dollar into five and so on. And so she kept all the paperwork. She made sure we were all tax compliant. And she wanted no part of being in front of the camera or none of the limelight. And as she was dying, she died in 2022. She actually, she tried to teach me about the birds and the bees and life and everything while she was dying, but she also tried to teach me some of her end of the business. And in all seriousness, if you own a business, or even if you don't, you're, as couples, if you're in a serious relationship or married, you need to know certain things. Like, you need to know each other's passwords. You need to know where the banking is done, and so on and so forth. She prepared me for that. But, I will tell you, I always appreciated the work that Penny put into the business. But, oh my God, I had no idea of how much work she did, because once it was all in my hands, thank God for my kids, particularly my son Nick, who helped with the paperwork end of things, and the tax stuff. I'd be serving time. I'd be serving time for tax evasion by now, accidental tax evasion. Because when I go up to, I go to Steve Mangle for my taxes, and he knew already from my years of going there with Penny that I absolutely had no idea what I was doing. I would sit there and listen to him and Penny, and they would have me sign things, and I had no idea what I was signing. So
Yeah.
so Nick jumped in, and then my niece, who is Penny's clone, kind of, her Penny's one of her brother's daughters, Carissa. She and her family helped out, but I've been now going on 4 years without Penny in the business. I've actually gotten pretty good at it, but no, I'm not going to I'm not going to take over your vast fortune of a business that you have, traveling the country, singing music, because I might just have you in jail for tax evasion, because I'm not that good yet.
So you're not going to take over my finances for me?
No, not gonna. No. And Steve and Adam at my tax place, they don't need to worry either. I'm not going to come there looking to take over their jobs. But yeah, it's been So losing Penny, that proved problematic. Of course, COVID wasn't any cake. Wasn't a wonderful experience either. But the bottom line too is, I'm not getting any younger. I'm largely in denial of the aging process, even though I probably look every bit my age. I'm just, it's time. And last fall, I also had one of those come to Jesus moments where I've lived my life in relatively good health. I've never broken a bone. I've never been hospitalized. But last fall, for about 3 months, I was bad shape, and won't go into that. But it was a struggle, and I still managed not to miss an issue of the journal. But for a moment there, I thought I was going to be And I thought I was going to be meeting the big man or pushing up daisies, whatever you wanted to call it. But you know what? I'm a person. I believe in turning lemon into lemonade. And once I was able to pull myself out of that nosedive, I said, well, let's slow down a little bit. And that's why I looked at the journal, because I was in the I was going to close it down then, but then I says, no, I'm not going to make it look, I'm not going to make myself feel like I'm being driven out of business by whatever this that wanted to kill me. So I stayed with it for several months, and I think I put out some of the best issues ever. I wanted to go out underneath on the top of my game, because in no way do I have to close. I have decided to close. There's a big difference. And if I had gone out then, I would have felt like maybe I was being forced out. And I did not want to feel that. I am going out totally underneath my own terms. So don't get me wrong, when Penny and I started the journal, we took a vow of poverty. It's not like becoming a musician, where you're going to be, you're going to be just like rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
So, but it's never been a get rich operation. It's, we did okay, but it wouldn't have, there was no rhyme or reason that any insane person would want to do this. Gary Kellogg, I swear I must have asked like 10 people what they thought about the idea.
Like when you were starting out?
Yeah, and Gary Kellogg, my buddy Gary, who took over, who was running Citizen Utilities at the time, he was the only one who said, hey, that sounds like a great idea. You notice I still haven't lost my Vermont idea. I put R's where they just don't belong.
Oh, I know.
Idea. So Gary was the only one who thought it was a grand idea. And every once in a while, Penny and I would muse about the fact whether Gary was right or we should wring his neck. But in reality, it was a great experience. And the people we got to meet, and then the events we hosted, like the Gold Star families, World War II veterans. Like, you saw how many like World War II veterans I'd bring in there. I don't know if I could find a World War II veteran today.
I mean, if you did, they're not long for this earth.
No, they're pretty much. I know I brought your great uncle in there.
Yeah.
A few times, Eddie Peranto, and he's over yonder now on the other side. But then you even think about Vietnam veterans, like Winston Joe Carbonell. He's gone. As far as I know, John Wilson, who I know is a dedicated watcher of this show, he's been on as a Vietnam veteran. Well, as far as today, I guess he's still on this side. So I hope you are, John.
I saw him this morning driving his truck the opposite direction that I was going. So
hopefully John's around a few more years.
So I think that's an interesting distinction to make, though, because you don't. I mean, it's not a secret that print journalism is struggling, but what you created is different than like a daily newspaper or something. You kind of, in chronicling the history of the Northeast Kingdom, you almost kind of became part of the history of the Northeast Kingdom. But I'm sure, even though the digital world isn't completely taking you out and you're deciding to go out on your own, it's it's got to be not easy to
no.
in a tangible physical media landscape with print, right? I mean,
the only way I was able to survive, even at the beginning, digital was really starting to come in. Was for the most part, people want their history where you can hang on to it.
yeah.
They want to be able to hold on to their history. Whereas I think people are more likely to, there's growing acceptance of getting your media now from digital. But I never had much luck with when I tried digital. It wasn't of interest. And I will give a shout out to Blanchard Litho in Sherbrooke. I've been Andrew Blanchard, who is the owner and been a long-term friend of mine now. He kept his prices at the lowest he possibly could, because like everybody else, here's the secret about a lot of my advertisers is, yeah, they were promoting their business, but most of them understood the real reason they were doing it was to because they believed in our mission. So and because print advertising now, I'm not saying it's there's value in it, but there's so many places for people to spend their ad dollars now. I think I also have been able to keep going is because of my internet presence. Just being out there, and I think I'm memorable because I'm kind of dorky. And some people don't like that. I'm sure there's people now who've already have run and changed the channel, but I think I've created something that goes beyond just history. I think I've been able to create a real image about the real Northeast Kingdom, that we're neither a bunch of toothless hillbillies, or we're not a never land of white picket fences. And I think that's the one thing that provided, a lot of the magic with the journal is it actually told the story of the history, often through the people who lived it. And a lot of times it was ordinary people who lived extraordinary lives. And I'm proud. A lot of times the people that had some of the greatest stories to tell were the ones who initially told me they didn't have anything to talk about. And on the other hand, some of the people who jump up and down to tell their story often don't really have a story to tell. Not that much of a story.
Right.
But it's been a great experience, and I hope to have it continue. It's like you look at, because of technology, like I think of you, Todd, and I think of the day that I came in. I said, "Hey, where can I buy a new tape recorder?"
Right. Yeah.
And that now would be almost the equivalent of if I came into you, where do I buy an 8-track?
Right.
Thing.
That was probably in like 2014 or 15 or something. Which,
well, I don't know. I think
I don't know.
Well, maybe.
I remember we were at our old building. NEK TV used to be on East Main Street, so it was at least 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
was like, tape recorder. Scott, you've got a laptop you're holding right there. You got a phone. You have two right there.
Right. So
how many issues, do you know off the top of your head how many issues you published?
Well, it's close to 300. Then I think I have 7 or 8 books. I think I'm going to. I have a couple ideas for different books that I'd like to do. One of them is maybe a collection of the Northland Journal's greatest hits, as in like maybe some of the stories, but also maybe articles written by the various writers of the Northeast Kingdom. And you know, the other thing that made the journal great is not only did it give people voices, but it also helped transform or give non-professional writers. You know, I had professional writers who submitted outstanding work, but then there's been other people who they're not writers. They don't pretend to be writers, but they had a story they wanted to tell, and they wanted to put into writing. And you know, my between myself and my the woman that I could not have lived without during these years is Janine Young, my editor of almost my entire 25 years. Then I go back to the Chronicle with her. She has been amazing, and she makes me sound a lot smarter than I am, kind of like your role as the producer of the show. You take all the glitches out.
Which we try our best. Sometimes,
yeah, but you don't take out those R's on where they don't belong.
Well, we got to keep some of the charm, you know.
Right. So the other thing too is, as most people know, I've remarried. Yeah. I've remarried Nens. I look at it this way: most people never have an opportunity to find true love once. I've done it twice, and she's wonderful. But now, and I've gone back in time. My boys are 40 years old, both of them, and my daughter's 35. And now I have school-age children again. So it's back to spend going to sporting events. It's sporting events. School conferences, and juggling my life with the kids and the grandkids. My following Penny's death, my life began to drift a bit away from the journal, and I spend much of my time now in Marquette, Michigan, just less than a mile from where my daughter and 4 of my grandkids live. I've been able to do that because of my niece, Carissa, who holds down the Vermont part, and I do the research and the write-in, and I organize the other writers. So I'm here, but we also have our place in the Philippines. So it was been interesting. I don't know if I seem to think we've recorded at least one show from the Philippines, which required me to get up in the middle of the night and host a show and pretend not to be tired. Yeah. So as you know, ever since I became a father to younger ones, each time my youngest, when she's here, she wants to see your face, and the face of any guest who's on. So here she is. This is Fiona. And so while the journal is very important to me,
get him.
You know, the kids are too. My kids, as in my bio children, yep. My grandchildren, and these children, you know, all this, you know, work is very important, but family is more important to me. So that is the reason I've also reduced my workload, and so.
Well, we have about 5 minutes left. See, I feel like I'm you because I'm taking over your show, but So we'll have to cram everything else into the 5 minutes. But when is the last issue?
So the last issue of the journal is the July issue, but uh, we had, instead of just walking away and not having a forum for my readers to keep up on history, we have consolidated or are consolidating with the North Star Monthly in Danville. They've been around, I don't believe it's continually, I believe it's 1808. I would love to get somebody on my show who was around in 1808 when it began, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Might be tough.
Unless so we have merged or consolidated with them. So any of my subscribers, people who are currently subscribing to the journal, I believe it'll be seamlessly. It'll transfer right over, and so they will still be getting their history. The North Star, and I believe I'll have Justin on sometime to maybe in the next few weeks have him on to talk about the North Star, because they're a bit different than the Journal, but not totally. They're a news publication. They have a component that is news, but a large component that is history. And unlike the Journal, which did not keep up, I'm a technological dinosaur. Also, thanks to Bill Alexander, who helped me with technology. For the most part, I personally did not keep up with technology that well. Justin at the North Star, the owner of the North Star, has done a remarkable job. So you can get your history and news, and including, I suspect you'll be seeing my articles there as well. But you can see it. You can get it online. You can get it. Paper version, and I think people will be happy. No, it's not the Journal, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they have some very accomplished writers with them. People who really delve deep into the history.
That's cool. So the history lives on, and Scott says that he's probably still going to do a show here on NEK TV if I raise his rate by like 5%.
Yeah, you gotta multiply my. You've been multiplying my pay every year, but when you start out at zero, multiplication just doesn't seem to work in my favor still.
Well, I'll have to see if I can work it into the budget.
Yeah. So, I got to thank you too, because where else can you get to work for free and have so much fun doing it?
I like to provide people with opportunities that they can't turn down, and you can turn down a volunteer position.
Right. we could go on and on, because people ask me all the time, what's your favorite story? I don't have one. I have some, but it's like there's just so many, and that's how come I can't just walk away and not continue to record history. But I will tell you in closing, as we wrap up, I pretty much wrapped up the Journal, other than like invoicing that a couple weeks ago, and it is the most surreal experience of my life.
Yeah,
I have never. It's like I get up in the morning. What do I do? It's like I get up at 4:00 every day. What do I do? Because I did want to I do want to give myself a break from writing in the sense of, yeah, I hope to do books, but I need to really sit back and it's like, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I will say this, I got the total endorsement of my wife, Nens, who on the side of taking care of me is an RN, who works in our local hospital over here in Michigan. So she has three jobs. She's a nurse, she is a mother, and she's my caregiver. Well, not quite caregiver, but she tolerates me.
She's your babysitter.
Yeah, babysitter. That's it. Uh,
Well, it sounds like you're going to have plenty to keep you busy. I mean,
okay.
you know.
Yeah, but I don't want to. I'm not going to just. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to sit back. I have gotten back in. I'm a mean mountain biker now. I'm back in. I hadn't mountain biked in years, but the reality of the matter when you're in your 60s, 60 plus year old bodies don't bounce like they used to.
Yeah.
And so I need to remind myself when I'm doing all these crazy things I like to do is, I just have to be careful because, a broken hip or something, it just isn't going to doesn't sound like a fun time to me.
It does not. And hey, maybe with now that you'll have a little more time on your hands, you can be crazy and sleep into like 4:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, 4:30. Hey, I will say this also in closing is I do believe I'm going to continue selling some of my Northeast Kingdom products, other than my books, of course. Yeah. I'm going to, but my Northeast Kingdom hats, my Northeast Kingdom mugs, and so on. And who knows, when you become even more famous than you are, I might come out of retirement and go on the road with you around the nation. And I'm still hoping for the day that just maybe James Taylor will be your opening act.
I mean, you never know. You never know. Well, so how do we end this? I mean, this is your show, but I'm the host, but you're still kind of the host. I mean, do I end it or do you end it?
Well, I don't know.
Or do we just end it together?
I'm gonna let you end it. And by the way, if you recall, one year you were the Northeast Kingdom's Northland Journal's Man of the Year. It's kind of like
I remember that.
Kind of like Time Life's Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have been working for years to be People's Magazine Sexiest Man Alive. And so far, I just keep on coming up, runner up.
Well, you're NEK TV's Person of the Afternoon. How's that?
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so I'll let you finish.
Well, thanks for coming on your show, Scott, and best of luck with your new endeavors. And though we will miss the Northland Journal, we'll be anxious to see what comes next from you. And we'll be seeing you here on NEK TV again very soon. But,
okay, thank you for coming. Thank you for hosting my show.
Yeah, anytime. So
and thank you to the.
I was going to say, do I get to do the thank you to the viewers, or do you want to do it? You do it. You do it.
Okay, and thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice, which was hosted by the producer of the show, Todd Peranto.
Dun, 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 dun.